The story of the Jewish convert, one of the most fascinating, deep concepts discussed in Judaism. It's a story of souls. And on a soul level, there's what we call an essential soul that has an essential life mission. One of the expressions of this is to fulfill that which your soul was created for. To come into this world and to actualize all of the unbelievable potential of your soul. And everyone has a unique type of soul. Even though there are general categories for souls, we have the souls of the nations of the world, we have the souls of the Jewish nation, we have the souls of converts, and even the Erev Rav, which is a deep Kabbalistic idea. And each of these souls have their journey unique to them. In a more specific sense, every person has his own unique soul story and what he or she is meant to accomplish. In a sense, I would like to just say that really we are all converts. We are all in this world to transform and transcend. And again, as the video you're going to watch is going to tell you, and it's really only bringing out what has been given to you already by God. But our process and journey is very hard, so it becomes our own accomplishment. We are here to, so to speak, create ourselves, or more specifically, recreate ourselves together with God. This is the magnificent story of life for every individual. This video specifically addresses the soul journey of one who's meant to become an actual Jew through conversion. But I think in a deeper sense, we all have to consider ourselves in the middle of such a process.
There was a specific question dealing with gerus, because students were approaching me for conversion. Remember, this was a time when students were very, very adventurous in their spiritual meanderings after reading extensively and having very forceful, charismatic lecturers moving them in all directions. And I wasn't quite sure what should be my policy vis-a-vis students seeking conversion. So the Rebbe read that question and responded in the following way. The Rebbe said, if a student should approach you for conversion, since you are a chaplain and you have colleague chaplains, first ask the student to meet with their respective chaplain of the pathway in which they were raised or might have had some connection, so they could investigate better and know better what it is that they had come from. Should that student continue nevertheless after meeting with your colleague chaplain, come back and say, I still want to be Jewish, then you should make sure that that student is placed in the hands of somebody who can teach them in an authentic way. And there should be a period of learning, each time pointing out the difficulties of becoming a Jew, the difficulties of changing the way that they eat, changing the way that they behaved on a Shabbos, and pointing out all the difficulties of change of lifestyle would entail, so that they're fully conversant with what they are getting themselves into. And at that point, many a student will decide that it's not for them. Should the student continue, the Rebbe went on, then under those circumstances, make sure that at their hands of a competent Rav, who would be able then to move them to a position where they might approach for gerus. And then, after the gerus, you should recognize that what has taken place is not a conversion, that there is no such thing as conversion. The word conversion suggests a change, that there's no change that has taken place in this individual. And the Rebbe went on and explained in the following way. The Rebbe said, in Lashon HaKodesh, you have words and their opposites, and invariably they come from a different shoresh. For example, you have a servant who becomes free, is Eved Shemeshuchrar. So you have quite different shoyrashim. You have Eved, Ein, Beis, Dalet of Avdus, and Meshuchrar, which is a different shoresh altogether. Or, as the Rebbe said, you have a poor man who becomes rich, Ani Shema Ushar. So under those circumstances, again, you have a different shoresh, the letters Ani and the letters of Osher. But when it comes to gerus, you have Ger Shenisgayer, and they have the identical shoresh of gerus in both instances. Therefore, when a gerus takes place al pi halacha, you should know that this was a neshama that always was Jewish, Nothing got converted. Nothing got changed. For reasons best known to the Eibishter, this neshama was megalgel into this particular set of circumstances of a non-Jewish mother. And this is the Gilgul and Nisayon of this neshama. And because there's the Pintele Yid within that neshama, and it seeks to be Jewish, after the gerus is our recognition that this always was a Yiddish neshama. And then the Rebbe went on and said, and that's why in the Shulchan Aruch we're exhorted to give kavod to a ger and a gerus, much more so than an individual who was naturally born Jewish, because this is a neshama that's gone through a much more severe test and passed that test. And the Rebbe emphasized that I should place the student in the hands of an Orthodox rabbi, because only if the gira was kahalacha would we ever know that that neshama is in fact a Yiddish neshama. That's the only external mechanism that we mortal human beings have the capacity to be able to understand something which is spiritual in nature, whether the soul is a Jewish soul. And if the gira is not kahalacha, we can never know.